You learn things about names on this channel, who would have thought? Hello name nerds, my name is Patrick and welcome to Fun with First Names, where each week we look into the meaning, origin and some extra fun facts behind one specific first name. And this week we are looking into the first name of Owen, or Owen as it's more commonly known as in the English speaking world. But before we begin, I just need to give my big usual shout out to Patreon. Now I'm filming this video a little bit earlier than normal, so if you become a patron in the most recent week and I don't mention your name, this is exactly why, because I'm filming it a little bit earlier. But thank you to all my patrons who support on Patreon, on Name Explain on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Name Explain. There'll be a link down below. $1 a month. If you donate $1 a month, you get ad-free videos, exclusive content, a chance to say what Names Explain, and your name at the end of these videos. Because everyone who donates, whether it be $100 or $1, they deserve the recognition at the end of the video. And if you don't want to commit to a monthly donation, feel free to leave a super thanks at the bottom of this video. There'll be a little button down below, so below this video. That's really appreciative as well. You guys all know the drill. Thank you very much. But anyway, on with today's name of Owen/Owen. And I say this because they're both the same name. As I said, Owen is the English form of the name Owen, so I'm going to be more focusing on that name. But it was Owen that won the poll for this one. Well, it came runner up, but if you're a patron, you know about that. That's why you should join. You get to know all behind the scene details. And something I find so interesting about the name Owen is how distinctive it is. There really aren't that many names beginning with O or W, at least in the English speaking world anyway. No other ones are coming to mind for me, but if there are more, let me know. And what's interesting is that the name Owen comes from a very similar etymological root to another name that is fairly common like Owen, but sounds completely different. That being the name Eugene. Yeah, Owen and Eugene are pretty much the exact same name despite the fact they sound so different. So how did we get to this point? Well, both of these names both come from the same Greek name of Eugenius. Eugenius. Apologies, my Greek isn't quite what it used to be. And then the Romans took this Greek name and made it into the Latin form of Eugenius, which has genius at the end. Is this another name meaning bright and smart like Hubert we mentioned last week? Well, no, not exactly, but still, there's a link there, maybe, I don't know. Someone should check that. Someone who talks about words and the origin of words for a living should look into that. And logically, this Latin name of Eugenius, when it got into English, became Eugene. It's pretty easy to see the link between those two names, that's for sure. However, when the Welsh got their hands on this name, it became a bit different. Welsh is a very unique language. I'm sure you're very aware of that fact, with all their big, long names and just consonant after consonant after consonant. Yes, I know W and Y are consonants in Welsh, but still, let me butcher this point. You guys know. So when they got this Latin name of Eugenius, instead of making it into Eugene or something that sounds like Eugene, they made it into Owen because Welsh. That's my answer. Just Welsh. Drop my little phone too. Are we up? We're up? Cool. So while Eugenius and Owen might sound like quite a dramatic change for this name, it didn't just sort of go from that to that overnight. They were kind of like middle ground names that made this name slowly adapt from the Latin Eugenius into the Welsh Owen. In Welsh, we also have names like Eugene and Eugene. They might be pronounced differently or similar. I'm not too sure, but you can see how these names sort of neatly in between Eugenius and Owen, because it's kind of like, yeah, picture the evolution with like the little monkey at one end and the person at the end. Those are like the middle half monkey, half human bits in between, I suppose. It's probably a better analogy than that, but I don't know. However, the name eventually settled on as being Owen in Welsh, and then the English language, not satisfied with just having Eugene as the Latin form as the English form of Eugenius, also said like, we want an English form of that name too, but like, you already have an English form, you have Eugene. No, but we want an English form of that Owen name too. So they made Owen. Like, English just wanted their own version of the original Latin name, and the Welsh form of the Latin name. Very silly, very, very silly English. But this all means that Owen/Owen and Eugene are pretty much the exact same name with the exact same meaning. And that meaning simply means well born, so it would have been given to people of normal birth, I suppose. Or maybe people who were just born without any complications. Like back in the day, that was quite impressive to be born without any severe complications, I imagine, because childbirth looks difficult, let alone giving birth in ancient Rome or medieval England or like medieval Wales. Like, yeah, like just being born all in one piece, I think is quite a big deal back then. So Good on you, mums. This should be for Mother's Day or something. Alright. But this makes Owen and Eugene another great example of two names that don't sound similar at all actually being related. And not only are they related, they're like the exact same name. Like, I always love when we find names like that. It's always a good time here at Name Explain when I find names that mean the same thing but are different, because it's two birds, one stone. Good times. I love throwing birds at stones. Birds at stones, stones at birds. Or maybe throwing a bird at a stone. Let's mix things up. Just focusing on the name Owen, it is the 22nd most popular boy's name in the USA and the 47th most popular boy's name in the UK. So that's really good to see. Owen is on the rise, it seems. It's a pretty popular name, evidently. Good for you, Owens. If you're an Owen watching this, let me know. I went to go look for one famous Owen, one famous Owen, and one famous Eugene. And a famous Owen is Owen Arthur. He is an actor and he was recently in the Amazon Lord of the Rings show. He was the main dwarf? You know what? I watched 3 episodes and gave up. Like, I think he was in that. He's the red-headed one. That show. Not a fan. I love Tolkien, as I'm sure you guys know by now, but it's just a bit boring. I'm not against like gatekeeping. I don't care they changed the law. It was just a boring show. It must be how non-Lord of the Rings fans feel about Lord of the Rings itself. Like, this is really boring and nothing happens. But in Lord of the Rings that works, but in this it just wasn't vibe with me. Maybe you should carry on watching it. Let me know if you should go carry on watching it. As for famous Owen, I went back to my pro wrestling roots and found Owen Hart. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm sure you know who Owen Hart is. He was of course the brother of Bret Hart, but a terrific wrestler in his own right. He passed away very horrifically and tragically. You probably know that story, even if you're not a wrestling fan. It's like one of the most well-known stories about wrestling. Like, go check it out for yourself, because it's not good stuff. It's a shame his legacy couldn't carry on to this day. But Owen Hart, terrific wrestler. And if you don't remember, I used to find one famous wrestler with these names in all of these videos back when Fun with First Names was first a thing. First a thing for Fun with First Names. Why can I say that easily but not anything else? And while I could have gone with a certain Eugene as a famous wrestling Eugene, I decided not to because, well, yeah, we don't need to talk about that Eugene. I'm instead going with Eugene Krabs, who you may know better as just Mr. Krabs. How common knowledge is that his first name's Eugene? I'm not sure, but now you know. You learn things about names on this channel. Who would have thought? But anyway, that's just about everything you guys need to know about the name Owen, or Owen I would say. But what are your thoughts on this name? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you know anyone with the name Owen? Are you called Owen yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, now I just end the video. There's definitely nothing else for me to do. Bye. This is the end of the video. Definitely nothing else supposed to happen here. Or maybe I should read out some comments about last week's name of Hubert. And of course, the week before that with Herbert. Yeah, in the previous video, I just completely forgot to read comments from the last name. Huge apologies. Now we've got Hubert and Herbert comments to look back on. So that's exciting. Yeah, sorry about that, but we're making good now. So for Herbert, Charles Pentrose says, as a child, I knew a family of Herbert, that being their last name. They are actually fairly smart and good people. There we go, there's some smart, good Herberts. Little Herberts are silly little idiots like the Cockneys want you to think. And Spice Weasel said, my mother admitted that she was thrilled that I was a girl because a boy would have had to have been named by my father. Herbert, dodged a bullet there. Also, no idea how he came to be named Herbert. It's not a name found anywhere in our family. Why would you do that to an innocent baby? Why would you do that to an innocent baby? Like, that's just not a nice thing to do to a baby. Call him Herbert. I guess once upon a time it was, and apparently it's been a bit more nice now, but there's a period of history where you shouldn't have been called Herbert, and we might still be in it now, we might just be ending it now, but your father was probably born in that time. Sorry, Herbert. And in regards to Hubert, Sam Will said, it's fun to think about how meanings like this travel, even when they're lost in the actual text. Because if you were to ask me to imagine a guy named Hubert, I'd imagine a nerdy guy with glasses. Me too, like, it's quite a nerdy sounding name, Hubert. I should do a video on nerdy sounding names and where they come from. I guess meaning bright and smart is kind of nerdy, that's kind of a connotation. But then it's also a connotation for like nerds to be kind of dumb and it's weird. Nerds are weird, don't be a nerd, I guess. Nerds were popular like in the 2000s and 2010s. Like, I'm a hangover, these glasses are a hangover of that, but Yeah, nerds aren't cool anymore, I don't think. Or maybe they are, I don't know I don't know what's cool anymore. And Ald Fauter said, lots of names with Bert endings from Germany. I wonder if Albert is due a comeback anytime soon. Even the once extremely popular Robert has failed to recover, unlike other oldies. Yeah, there are tons of Bert-based names. Even just Bert unto itself has become a popular name, like Bert and Ernie. Albert, yeah, I came across that one while doing research for the Herbert and Hubert videos. Didn't even think about Robert, like, it didn't even occur to me that ends with Burke. I'm just used to saying Robert. But yeah, maybe let's bring him back. I could see Albert coming back, especially with like the whole royal stuff. People love the royals, so Albert could come back, I suppose. My throat is giving out me. I'm going to turn the camera off to do a big cough. Go suggest some names down in the comments below, and I'll pick 3 of those to be put to a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on. And then the winning name in that poll will be the name covered in the next Fun with First Names video. So if you enjoy the channel, want to have a say in what names I explained, and get extra goodies like ad-free videos and exclusive content, and your name at the end of these videos, you know the drill. Go support Name Explain on Patreon, $1 a month. There'll be a link down below. If you've got a spare dollar by the end of the month and don't want to donate to charity, or still donate to charity and then don't want to support another more successful, more enjoyable YouTuber, that's what I would do. Maybe consider leaving it to Name Explain on Patreon. It helps out in a huge way. I'm depending more on Patreon now, more than ever, to say the least. I rambled on about it, you know the drill. But anyway, that's just about enough for myself. Don't forget to go follow me on Instagram, where I'm Name Explain YT, and don't forget to go join the Facebook group, Friends of Name Explain. Okay guys, take care. And it didn't fall off again, that's handy. I'm really happy that happened on camera. It happens all the time, so at least I have video proof of it happening now. Shall we get into this? Interesting that the name comes from another, what am I saying? That is still, alright. Do it again. You want to stop? You want to stop, camera? 2 names that don't sound similar. And a famous Owen is Owen Arthur. And is he called Owen Arthur? He is. Owen Arthur. As for famous Owen, I've gone back to my pro wrestling roots. Owen or Owen. We recording? I think it's going to play up and stop recording in a moment. So for Herbert, and Smart Weasel.